Welcome, everybody, on this lovely Tuesday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. We're here for the workflow workshop, specifically focused on capturing and managing leads inside Method and all the different ways that you can do it. If that's what you're here for, you're in the right place. We're going to get started in a couple of seconds. We'll just give people a couple extra moments to join in. Super curious how the weather is for everybody. I'm calling in from Toronto, and it's been hot here. Very, very hot. And I've been getting into, a couple of debates with the in-laws about, whether the AC should be on all day and the windows are closed, or whether you're opening the windows. And, it's a whole dance that we're doing here. What about you, Errol?
Oh, I've been doing great. Just it has been hot, but it's been nice too at the same time. I'm actually impressed because, we're just before this webinar, it didn't look like there was going to be anybody here, but then it like quadrupled. So it's like everybody's just arriving on time. That's impressive. All of you are very good at
Punctual?
your time management. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So feel free to share where you're calling in from. Would love to hear that. But with that said, we will kick things off. We're hoping to keep this to 30 minutes. We may go a little bit over if there's some Q&A or some interesting things that we want to dive a little bit deeper into. With that said, our workshop is focused on lead management. And if we go to the next slide, it's presented by Errol, who is our product specialist here at
That's me.
Method. You've done probably what, thousands of implementations and customizations and all kinds of, finessing in the platform. I don't
You
know
just
how many people there are who have more
just
in-depth knowledge.
Just pointing out that I'm old. That's all. That's why we have the name senior right in front of my name. It's because I'm an
That's the
old
only
person,
reason. Yeah, that's why we
Yeah.
added it. Yeah.
So you can see my white hair in the camera. Oh my goodness.
And I'm hosting this session. My name is Madison. I lead all things content here at Method. So for today, our session is focused on solving this problem where your leads are living in a lot of different places at once. And I say leads, but really it's your contacts, all the customers that you serve or potential customers. And a lot of times, these might be in a spreadsheet, they might be in some version of QuickBooks, they might be in someone's head or on a piece of paper. And there's actually a lot of intricacies and a lot of different things that you got to think about as you're fixing this. So the things that we're going to talk about today, if we flip over to the agenda, is we'll talk quickly about the difference between customers in QuickBooks and leads in Method and how those two kind of connect and the nuances around the QuickBooks sync. We're going to focus a little bit on the Method user permissions. Really important when you're managing an operation, you want to make sure that the leads are being piped correctly and people are seeing the right things and not seeing the things that they're not supposed to see. And then we're going to take a quick look at getting leads into the system through manual import, website, and email. And then we're going to kind of push ourselves a little bit. And we've set up a bit of an experiment, let's call it, which is me, a very non-technical person, actually trying to implement Methods API on a website to grab leads from the website. And we'll see how that went. So stay until the end to get a sense of the results. With that said, a quick kind of preamble around leads and QuickBooks. A lot of people might just say, hey, I can just manage all of this in my QuickBooks file, right? And some of you maybe do already and you're running into issues with it. Or maybe you haven't even considered this, but you've heard of other people doing it in QuickBooks. So there are a couple of core issues with managing everything inside of QuickBooks. So QuickBooks itself is a great platform, a fantastic ledger, but you're going to have limitations when it comes to lead management. So number one, very limited user permissions, right? So if you've got salespeople in your accounting ledger, a lot of things can go wrong, especially as your team expands. You kind of don't want them touching too many things inside QuickBooks. Second, the hub inside of QuickBooks is a little bit too limiting depending on your business. Now, if you have a very, very simple business and a very simple pipeline process, maybe it will work for you. But most folks have something that's a little bit unique and you want to customize what your pipeline looks like. And you also want to make sure that your leads and customers are separated, whereas QuickBooks actually forces you to turn people into a customer in order for them to just get an estimate from you. You also can't really track proposals in the pipeline view, and there's a lot of small kind of finicky things that don't really function as a full-fledged CRM. And then finally, there are limitations in terms of how you actually can get the leads into your system, right? You really got to think about all the different sources for your leads and try to consolidate them in a clean, proper way. So with that said, we're going to jump into actually seeing what this looks like, and I'm going to hand it over to Errol.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mattis. So I am going to show, I am not going to properly do slides. Okay, let me go and slide over to my other screen. Come on, you. Oh my goodness. Okay, here I am. I don't know what's wrong with my mouse. So here I am. I am in a method at the moment, and I also have a QuickBooks account open here. And we are talking about leads, but I do want to point out one thing is that Mattis did say that leads are not managed within QuickBooks. In other words, anyone that is a lead within Method is not here in QuickBooks. And that makes sense because you don't want to actually worry about all of those people there. But I also want to show you that we do have a real-time two-way automatic sync that happens with QuickBooks. If you aren't familiar with Method at all, if I go over here to Amy Ford, for example, she is one of our customers. She's Sanford Company Art Gallery, and her contact is Amy Ford. So there she is right now, and that is her phone number. So let me go ahead and like change your phone number. Let me just like delete it and hit save and back. And now I've updated the phone number. Now let me go over here and let's just like reload the screen. And when I reload the screen, you will find out that the phone number is gone. And I'm already talking even before it loads because I am that confident that it is going to immediately update. Ta-da! There you go. There is no phone number here. So you update it in Method, it immediately updates over to QuickBooks and also vice versa. So if I update it in QuickBooks, I will see that update immediately in Method. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put the phone number back in. Let's remove the extension and hit save just so that you know that it's a little bit different. And I'm not trying to do any wild magic here. So let's go ahead and reload this screen. So I've updated it in QuickBooks and you will see that it immediately goes over to Method. Ta-da! Extension is gone. So we have a real-time two-way automatic sync. So if I create any invoices, if I create any kind of transactions, that will immediately go over to QuickBooks. And that is one of the more powerful aspects of Method that we have. But we are talking about leads. And as I said, and as Mattis has said, we do not sync over leads to QuickBooks because we want to do like our normal sales process that we would need to do with leads. And so I have a number of them here. But I want to show you a variety of different ways that you can get leads into Method. Now, your most common way is that if you're already in Method, hey, why don't, when you get a phone call or whatever, you can just quickly add them. We have a wonderful new contact button here. We have a add your first contact here. We have a plus button up there to add contacts. We can add contacts from anywhere. And if you're on the home page, where you'll have a number of other different kind of tasks and information that is available to you that will help you learn more about Method. So I would highly suggest you take a look at the little tabs here. For example, this will let you learn how to use different aspects of Method. But I wanted to show you, look, there's a new contact there as well. So we have different ways that you can add a lead, which is great. But we also have some ways to add leads more in a bulk fashion. And also another way is that you can actually add it from your email. And I'm going to show you both of those ways as well. If I go up in the upper right hand corner, this is where if you've used any other kind of, online platform, cloud platform, the profile icon should be, very familiar to all of you. And I will go over to integrations. And integrations is where you can find any kind of third-party app integration with Method that we have. This is where you can see, for example, details about the QuickBooks sync, but we also have an import. And obviously you can import leads. You can import almost anything. Actually, you can import anything into Method that you might want, but right now we are going to go and import our leads into Method. Let's go and I'm going to quickly go through this because, if I started to explain everything about import, it could go on forever. And I'm just going to quickly show you that I can import here. The CSV file that I used is one that I've already created ahead of time. It will show you all the different fields. And I would highly recommend that if you are importing. Let me go back. Sorry. Let's see if I can figure out how to go back. That we do have some templates here that you can look like and that you can look at and try to make your imports similar to that. Anyway, let me go back into here. Let's go find that thing. And we have our import. I only have about 100 here. And then we have a number of fields that are automatically already mapped for myself. I could probably show you, for example, if something doesn't exactly match because, I don't know, maybe your names are too long. It will highlight that, and then you can change it in the field. And you can do a number of other things too, you can export fields that aren't properly importing, and then you can make changes to that and then just only update that subset. For now, because we do demos all the time, I'm just going to tag this. That's demo 26. Is it May? I don't know what the day's date is. Is it the 20th? I don't know, 20th? Okay, I'm just guessing right now. I don't know what the date is today. I should have checked that, but no, I probably would be on the. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this import. And again, what I wanted to show here, this is just one way that you can import your leads. And then once it's done, again, it will go into our customer and leads, and these leads do not sync over to QuickBooks. Okay, and okay, they're done. I was just about to go and start something else because it was taking too long for me. And there you are. These are all the leads that I imported in, and then I also automatically tagged them so I knew exactly which ones I just imported here. And then once again, you can go through the normal process of dealing with your leads and even assigning them to different people and whatever your sales process is. Now that's a second way that you can import leads. One was that manual way where you click new contact. Another way is through here. But I'll show you a third way to import leads, and that is through something that we have called the method email gadget for Gmail. It's a really long title. There's probably a better one, but it's the Gmail gadget for method. Anyway, I put it off here. Oh, it's called the method sidebar. I am so sorry. We also have a gadget for Outlook, and I think that's called the method Outlook gadget. And then the one for Gmail is called the method sidebar for Gmail. So these are two different add-ons that you can check our website if you want to learn more on how to install that. You can check our help center if you want to learn how to install that. I can even show you up here at the upper right hand corner. We have a little question mark, and you might want to just type in here Gmail gadget. I'll just type in Gmail, see what happens when we go there. And there you go, method sidebar for Gmail, and installing the method sidebar for Gmail. So that is available to you. I can even search for things like Outlook. Oh, there's the Outlook email gadget and how to get that. So those are available on our help center if you want to use this in your email. I've already installed it, and as you can see, what it does, it adds this wonderful, oh look, it tells me my contacts are imported. Nice. It shows me this wonderful sidebar on my email. And again, this is my company email. I'm assuming you're thinking to yourself, nobody's company email is that clean. I just deleted everything. That's what I did here. And I have just received an email from Paige that she is interested in an estimate. Now, I would obviously need a lot more information, and nobody's email is this short or as well composed here. So but this is just for a demo's sake, and I have in here that I have an email from Page Park. So what the method sidebar does, as soon as you open any type of email, it starts searching in method to see if this email actually exists in your method account, and it does not. This is somebody brand new, and now I'm excited because I've got a new lead. And so I could put them in as a brand new customer and automatically sync them to QuickBooks, but no, we're going to work in a lead capacity. So I'm going to click new lead, and then I can happily add in this new person. I don't know what her company is, but that's okay. I don't need to know any of that. I'll just keep it all Page Park, and this is her email. I can probably get all of these details later on, but for now, I will just save this lead. And again, everything is done straight within my email account. So if I were to go over here and if I were just to refresh the screen, actually I can just refresh the grid. Is there? Okay, there's no refresh grid here. Now I'm just going to refresh the screen and I would be able to see a Paige in here. Okay, well, there's a lot of people in here, so let me just search for her. Paige. Ta-da! There she is. Ha I've now found Paige, and she has been added to our method. It has all the very limited information because there wasn't really much in this email, but that's great. Had she had given me more information in there, I could have gone in and edited it and put it all in there so it would have been there. Now, best practice, just in case you aren't used to working in a CRM, I probably should put in an activity or somehow some type of interaction record that she emailed me. And so that's what we call activities in Method. In other words, we need to keep track of every single type of interaction that we've had with our clients because we want to log these relationship points that we've had with Paige. And so I'm going to put in here that she's interested in an estimate. Good job. So I'm going to go and copy that. I'll put that in as a comment and maybe just log from email. Although I know it's from email. It says email incoming. What am I doing? Okay. And it's coming in today and it's actually completed. So this is actually going to log that I've had this email in with Paige. And I'm also going to schedule a follow-up with Paige. And what this will do is this is going to be assigned to me, and I'm going to make this a to-do because I need to remind myself that I need to create an estimate. Create estimate for a Page for a budget of 2,000. Great, that's wonderful. And I don't know when I want this done by. Actually, I should probably do it by tomorrow. Actually, I don't know what tomorrow is again. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not started. That's good. So this is just a to-do reminder that I need to create this estimate because, as everybody at my company knows, I'm a forgetful man and I don't know why I'm still employed. But still, I need a way to keep track of all these things that I need to do in my job. And so I have this follow-up to do this. So again, as an overview, I'm keeping logging my interactions with Paige. One is that she emailed me. Two, I need to follow up on it. So let's hit save. And again, once I'm done that, you will find that in Method, I mean, I could also just click here and it'll just open up Method if you're wondering, hey, what if I don't have Method open? And then I'm saying, hey, you should always have Method open. Well, okay, maybe not. But anyway, so here I am looking at Page. I can see that activity that I logged, that the email is incoming. I can see that I have to create an estimate for, oh, I spelled her name incorrectly. Create an estimate for Page. And then now that I have all of these to-dos, another thing I can do is I can happily go in and then just go ahead and create this estimate for Page. One thing just to let you know about leads is that any transaction that you make for a lead also does not sync over to QuickBooks. So I can see here that we have this wonderful thing that says pending sync approval. It's yellow, which usually means, oh, hey, there's something, it's not green, in other words. And if it's green, then it's synced over. If it's not, then it has not synced over. So this is us reminding us that this has not synced over to QuickBooks yet. And I can go ahead and type in what kind of thing she wants. And I don't really know. I probably didn't put enough information in there. But the great thing about Method, and again, everything here in this area, which is called app ribbons, is showing every record related to Page, and it gives us everything in context with our client. So I can go back to my activities. I can open this activity up, and I can see that, oh, I spelled it incorrectly. So let me just go ahead and spell that correctly and save that. But we want something that's $2,000. And so I'll just jump back to this estimate, which is still open. So that's handy. And then I'll just put that rate in. And then we're done. And then I'll go ahead and save that. And again, as I said before, this is not syncing over to QuickBooks. Now, I'm not going to show this in this webinar because I do believe Mattis has told me that I don't have to go through that whole process because we're going to cover portals in another webinar, but we're going to go deeper into that there. Is that correct, Mattis? Right? So what I
That's
will show you. Wait, what time are we at anyway? Am I going too fast or too slow? Oh my goodness.
I think we're tracking correctly.
Yay.
But we 100% will We go way deeper into the sync and specifically into the sync as it pertains sending proposals, estimates, invoices, getting paid, that entire workflow. So today's session is focused on leads, and I think Errol, you've just gone through, the different ways to get leads into the system. You can add them manually. People on the field, maybe they're out talking to people, who are trying to become customers. They could add them manually through some other devices. It doesn't have to be necessarily be a computer. You can upload them as an import, and as Errol just showed you, you can connect your Gmail or Outlook and get them into the system that way. I think, Errol, one thing that I would love for you to show as well is how do you control some of the things that people on your team can actually see and do with these leads? Because at least from my experience, having worked a number of companies and different teams, sometimes, especially sales folks, can get a bit territorial when it comes to lead management and who's working what. And I'm sure there may be reasons for everybody to kind of divvy things up depending on what your system looks like at your company. So we have a very robust user permission model, and I think people would love to kind of get a sense of what that looks like as well.
Amazing. And I could totally do that. If I go back over to my customer leads, I do want to show you a few things. Over on the left, above almost any grid that we actually have here, whether it be our customers and leads, but even if I go over to my estimates or my invoices, we actually have these grids here. And you will notice that some of them have this thing called My. If I go over to my customers and leads, you'll see that also I have shared and then I have My. And what that indicates is that I can assign leads and customers, anybody, any record, in fact, to myself. If I go to my old contacts, I have nobody. Okay, well, there you go. I'm a very lonely person. Let me go find Paige. I'm going to assign her to me because I forgot to do that. So let's go over to Paige and I'll go over to my customer lead details and let's just assign it to me. Who am I actually? Who am I logged in as? I'm logged in as, I don't know. I think I'm logged in as this person. Yeah. This is the account where I'm logged in as this person. So I'm going to go ahead and save and back that. Amazing. Now, when I take a look at my customers and leads, I can see that, oh yeah, if I go over, let's clear that thing. And if I go over to my all contacts, there we go. I have Paige as my. Now, as Matt has said, we do have a robust system so that you can go in and say who is allowed to see what. For example, going back to my personal preferences under account settings, and this can only be done by an admin person. Obviously, you don't want to be anybody to be able to change this. If I go down over to my users and if I open up that method login person, you will find under access permissions at the bottom a way to see who is allowed to see what records. If I uncheck this, now we have this ability to have peer-to-peer access. Who's allowed to see what? Maybe I don't want anybody to see whatever she owns, right? So there is this access there. And again, I would highly, if you already have a method account, and you want to, if you have an account manager, I would suggest you ask them more about this or also take a look at the help center to figure out how the records access works. And also just to let you know, we also have the ability to restrict more than just records. We have the ability to restrict apps. So as Matt has showed you in our slides that, once you have people within your QuickBooks accounts, if you have salespeople in your QuickBooks account, yeah, they have access to all the transactions. But it is possible that you might want them to have restricted access to different parts of your system. So maybe you only want them to add in estimates and nothing else, right? Let's just say I don't trust, actually, this is me, I'm editing, but maybe I don't trust me. And I only want to give access to myself to only see the estimates on my screen, and that's the only thing I'm doing. And if I want to further restrict my access, maybe I only want to just view them and I don't want to edit them at all. So all of this is available to you and allows you to be a bit more specific and granular when you want to give people permissions to your financial information. Amazing. And that's it, I think. There's permissions for you, Mattis. Thank you very much. I think Mattis was just gently trying to remind me that I forgot to talk about permissions. So thank you.
Appreciate it, Errol. No, I think you jumped right to the good stuff of getting leads.
Now there is
my
a
less
fourth
exciting
way,
things, but
yeah, to actually
there is a fourth
add
way.
in, and I didn't cover it because this is now Mattis's job.
That's this is it's called a workshop, and so we're workshopping something. We're trying to be a little bit experimental here. And I did see some questions come in through the Q&A, so we're going to tackle those in just a second. But I just want to be respectful of time, and we will kind of dive through this example. So I myself, as a non-technical person, um, might want to actually push method further than what I can kind of just see on the screen. And there are a couple of things that I can do. So one thing I can do is I can go and talk to methods customization team, and they will actually help me build kind of a different workflow inside of the app. I can also try to do it myself, but really the most effective, fastest, and most reliable way to get it done the way you exactly the way you want it is to talk to our customization team. Now, the other thing that I can do is I can try to connect what exists in methods, so not the customization, but what is already there, to some external source using this thing called an API. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into like what APIs are. I'm also totally not an expert on APIs or how any of them work. But what the goal I had here was to try to think, can I actually get a lead piping through the API. So we have a form integration where you can just pull out a form and embed a form on your website. And yeah, and Errol is going to show us that web to lead form. And this is basically just an iframe form. You embed it and you can get leads that way. But sometimes, I know in some cases for businesses, they actually might want to connect a very specific workflow. Maybe it's with a different app or another lead source where you are actually just sending data back and forth securely between these two entities. And so what I did is I relied on one of our new tools that are out there in the world, an AI tool called Claude. And what I did was I went to this website called developer.method.me, where you have all of these API documents, and I ingested them into Claude. And then I asked it, hey, I have this WordPress website that I built, that actually Claude himself built, or herself, who knows what what the gender of the AI is. But they built it, and I asked, I want to add this form through this API. I don't know how to do it. Can you tell me how to do it? And through a whole bunch of trial and error, I managed to build this connection through it. And so Errol now is going to live test this connection and see whether actually the magic works or not. So we're on this website now. Yeah, good luck spelling that out. Yeah, so somebody's landing on our form, and you can think of it as this can be a form or it can be anything else. It could be a different application. It could be some other workflow. Maybe you have some fancy tool where you can actually kind of voice assisted add leads to a database. The API will actually let you make that connection, and you can make those connections with an API across a whole bunch of different things. Um, okay, so if we send message now, you should get a little confirmation at the bottom.
I needed to put in an emoji.
Uh, okay.
Ta-da! Ooh,
Okay, so we've
ooh,
received the message. Now let's see
ooh.
whether this person exists in the CRM.
Oh, I probably should have went in and showed that that person didn't exist to begin with. So,
Right.
oh no, let me just clear this. And what do I called them Mattis, right? Mata. Oh, there you are.
And there it is.
Mattis Pran AI. Oh, and then we have an activity open. Haha. So this is what your AI can I critique it? No, anyway, sorry. Well,
You can definitely critique it. And I think one of the things that I do want to caveat, we're just demonstrating the different ways that you can actually use method to manage leads and to create these activities for lead follow-up. And want to kind of illustrate that this is possible. Now, there are things you should be aware of. The AI can sometimes make things up. And I think as we're going through that process, I did run into some of that for sure, and it was not perfect. And maybe Errol did kind of at one point check my work and said, "Hey, you're creating a whole bunch of records here that are empty and they don't make any sense and they don't do anything." But that is why our customization and professional services teams exist, is so that you can actually go to someone who is an expert who can verify the work that you're trying to do or actually do the work for you, right? And get the thing built out for you that you're trying to create. So yeah, so with that, I think we're gonna jump to close and the Q&A. So if we flip over back to the slides, a quick reminder of our next workshop. It's same time next week, Tuesday, and we're going to be focusing on building and sending quotes faster, talking about proposals, showing off some customizations that are possible around like margin calculations, and then estimate approval processes. So show up to that one if you'd like to learn more. And yeah, with that, I think if we jump to the next slide, Errol, quick reminder, we are on Reddit, so go and visit r/method CRM if you have questions. Have a whole community of people there who are ready to answer. And if we move on to the next slide, Errol, just a couple of links that are useful if folks are looking to either get help or get started with Method. Just sharing those in the chat window here. Okay, and with that, we're going to jump into the Q&A section. Um, so Errol, Jody was looking to know, can you actually see all activities open on the main dashboard so you can kind of get the list view of everything you got to get done for the day? Can you do that in Method?
So that's a good question. Just to let you know, on the main dashboard, we do have this area down here for to-dos that are needed for you to do today. There also is on the side, or if you go through apps up here, you can go straight into activities itself. And if I were to take a look at activities, this will show you all the open activities starting from today, I do believe, and the past. So that's available to you as well. So that's a great question. Also, just to let you know, you can also see it in a calendar view. So let me see. I can't remember when I had that. Oh, there it is. There's that to do that I just created for the 21st. Oh, it's the 19th today. There you go. Now I know. Anyway, so those are different ways where you can see the activities.
Amazing. Thank you, Errol. So Jody had another question. I think this is a great question. It allows us to dive into the differences a little bit about data ingestion. The question is around, so I understand correctly, we have a form on our website and we can connect that form and it would add itself to the CRM, or do I have to put my website through Claude? So just a clarification, the whole kind of Claude step, at least for me as a non-technical person, right? Like I don't know how to work with an API. I don't really know how to read the code. Like I can get by if you like really, give me a ton of time to kind of sit there and try to piece things together. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to say, okay, here's the API documentation. I have this WordPress site, and then I have a form, and then exactly that. I need to understand what kind of code I need to create in order for the API to trigger when that form is filled so that the data is passed back to Method. That's one way to do it. The other way that you could do it is you could just take a form that already exists in Method, it's an iframe, and just embed it on the website. So Errol, yeah, if you pull up that web to lead form again, we have a form here, and you could take this form and just embed it to your website. But maybe there's a reason why you want a specific form on your website that is not this exact form, or maybe it's not even your website. Maybe you have an app partner or somebody who is sending you leads, and you just want to give them a way to connect to you so they can just send you leads directly. So you could do that through the API. I hope that it helps explain the scenario. Okay. Um, there's no other questions.
I was just getting prepped for them all.
Yeah.
I see a number of
uh,
things in chat, but I don't have the chat open, so that's why I was thinking, oh, but they're probably everybody's saying hello. That's good too.
Mark said, good session today. Thank you so much. I think you may have already jumped, but thank you, Mark. I mean, we're just 3 minutes over, so we managed to almost get down to the 30-minute mark. We'll see how we do next Tuesday. So please join us for that. If you're interested in learning more about proposals and the ins and outs of that process, you should all be signed up if you're signed up for this session. But with that said, I hope folks have a great rest of their week. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Errol.
Thank you, Mattis. Take care, everyone. Hope you have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.